Alright, gang, we're gonna take a look at some alt arts since Sword and Shield's kind of been dead lately, you know. At least that's what it feels like to me. Nobody's been wanting to buy Sword and Shield, nobody's been pumping Sword and Shield. Your PokeTubers haven't been talking about Sword and Shield or the alt arts or really anything crazy. So I just want to take a look at it and see how some of the top hits are performing. I believe I have a lot of the top hits in order from, most expensive to whatever, least expensive. But over the course of the last year, the Moonbreon, as y'all can tell, that's what we're looking at, hit an all-time high of what, 2280, and we were down to 1750, and it looks like we're pumping back up to just about $2,000. Over the last month, we're up about 10%, and there's only 19 of these available, and we're not even selling one per day. It looks like there might be a mini buyout occurring here, when not many are selling the whole month and you just have a bunch being bought all in the same week. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. Um, definitely an iconic card, but it's just so expensive, and maybe that's why Sword and Shield isn't moving a whole lot, is just because it's just so expensive, and it's not the shiny new thing, to be honest. All right, let's take a look at the Gengar. I would be expecting this to be pumping a bit just because, the new Gengar from Ascended Heroes, and it looks like that is true. This is all-time highs for this card. We were at 790 before, pulled back to just under 700, and now we have surpassed the previous all-time high, and we're over 850. Let's look at the 3-month. 3 months broken. 6 months says we're up 15%, 3 months broken, and the last month we're up 12%. Now, there's 24 of these available with an average daily sold of 1. Obviously, we know more than 24 of these are out there. It's just they're all in people's collections or PSA 10 slabs, or they're privately traded or sold at like card shows, Facebook, what have you. I also think that a lot of these higher end cards tend to get sold on Facebook over TCG Player because, if you have a near mint one and you have good pictures of it, that minty one is going to fetch a nice premium. Now we have the Rayquaza VMAX. Potentially, this might be pumping. Before we even take a look, I haven't looked at any of these cards yet, but potentially might be pumping because the rumor of Rayquaza, if it hasn't pumped yet, maybe it's a good move to grab for the potential Rayquaza set. There's only 9 of these available. We're flat over the year, but 6 months says we're up 12%, 3 months says we're up 13%, and the last month says we're up about 11%. So it looks like we're probably pumping because of that rumored Rayquaza set. And as you can see, each sale just keeps pushing this card a smidge higher, a smidge higher. This is literally like steps, and that's awesome to see. Very, very small amount of these available out there. I'm curious, what's actually available? Let's look at the recent solds first. Recent solds, like I said, been stepping stones. 850, 950, 1,000. That's crazy. So is this really $1,000 card? Looks like the lowest listed is $1,100 for near mint from a reputable seller. So I would say this is $1,000 card now. Next we have the Giratina. This is from Lost Origin. Shinji Kanda artwork. Really, what else is there to say? That card is stunning. Let's look at the year chart. Are we at all-time highs on this too? Let's see. Previous was 632, went down to 575, and we're up to about 700 bucks. 6 months says we're up 9%, 3 months says we're flat, 1 month says we're pretty much flat. Selling 1 per day and 21 available. Recent solds are, that one says it's off-center, but 670, 670, 670. Now we're at the Lugia. Now, this Lugia reminds me a lot of that Charizard from Phantasmal Flames. I think the sets are relatively comparable. Out of Phantasmal Flames, you really just got Charizard. Maybe you could say you have the Dawn and like the Piplup or something really, really small like that. But Silver Tempest has the Lugia, which is literally insane artwork. Like that's probably one of the best Lugias we've ever gotten, just like the Charizard. The only difference is Silver Tempest has the what is it, Rayquaza? Is that a trainer gallery, I think, or something like that? I'm not 100% sure, but it has a Rayquaza in it that's relatively nice. 41 of these available, so I don't know if that's just because it got that huge reprint late in its cycle, and it's just, taking a little bit more time to churn through stuff. It definitely took its time going up in value, that's for sure. Over the last year, it says we're at 56%, but we peaked at 458. Looks like we're almost there right now. We'll have to take a look at the recent sales. Down on 6 months, but 3 months says we're up 22%. 1 month says we're up 12.5%, and our recent sales are like 430. There's like a 490 and a 450 in there, but yeah. Maybe we should take a look at PSA 10s of these. I'm not 100% sure. You guys will have to let me know. Do you guys like when we look at PSA 10s and stuff like that? That's definitely a lot more work because I have to manually, like look it up in eBay and such, or maybe I could just use Collector. Collector might work. I'd like to get sponsored by Collector. I like their app. I think that's a pretty good app. All right, so over the last year, we're up 48% on this Dragonite from Evolving Skies. Down a lot on the 6 month, 3 months flat. 1 month, we're back up 10%. Let's take a peek at this. We had an all-time high of 500 bucks, went down to 360. Now we're starting to pump back up at 400. There's only 25 of these available, so maybe that is what's going on with the Lugia is just a little bit newer. And our recent solds are right about 450. Here's the Blaziken I was talking about the other day. Like, that is such an insanely beautiful card. And it's the 7th most expensive card out of the entire generation. And it's just, nobody cares about it. Nobody cares about Chilling Reign for whatever reason. Nobody cares about Chilling Reign. I don't understand. I don't get it. Like we said in our previous video, basically flat, down 6% in the year. And you're just going to see basically the same thing. Like, it's just flat. Nobody cares about Blaziken for whatever reason. I don't understand. And our recent solds are pretty much all in that range, 340 to 370, and that's all it's bounced around. Pretty stable card. Sylveon, this is from Evolving Skies as well. And honestly, I think with Prismatic being out, they kind of might like ride off of each other. Only 15 of these available, one selling per day over the course of the last year. Hit an all-time high of just over 400 bucks at 409. Came down to 322. Looking at hindsight, when these cards pull back like that, that is such an incredible time to buy. And you know what? There's your low at 322, and we're starting to tick back up. Maybe we do hit 500 on this one. If we look at the tail end of this one, we were up to 411 and came all the way back down to 271. Look at this one. We were up to 410, and now we came all the way down to 320. I mean, there's still room to run. As we look at the 3 month, we're only up 3%, 13% in the last month. And our recent solds are 375, 320. There's a couple 400s in there. So it's nearing all-time highs. Charizard V from Brilliant Stars. There's been a lot of talk about this. I just don't understand what's going on. It's a good artwork with Charizard battling Venusaur. The battle scenes usually do well. Two Kanto Pokemon. Charizard's like basically the most popular Pokemon, if not one of the most popular. And it just can't seem to get up there in value. Let's be real. I mean, it touched at 390 for a very small amount of time, and it just crashed right back down. And this is the main chase from Brilliant Stars. And Brilliant Stars is kind of pumped a little bit. It's definitely, I think it overtook Chilling Reign sometime in the last couple months. And looks like we're starting to pump a little bit more over to 300. But, personally, I think this card should be like 500 bucks. Up 29% in the last 3 months, only up 17% in the last month. 46 of these are available, and maybe that's why there's a little bit more of these compared to the rest. Recent sales are right about that 300 to 320, and the lowest listed from a reputable seller is going to be at 310. So I think I have 2 of these. I bought relatively cheap. Let's see, where were they? Probably somewhere around this time last year. I want to say I paid like 180 for them. So yeah, definitely a good buy last year, but I'm a little disappointed. I think if I would have sold them and moved into something else, like just like sealed product, y'all know I'm a sealed guy. I think the trailer would have been done. I would have done better, and maybe it's piggybacking off the hype of the Phantasmal Flames Charizard. Who knows? Here is the Sleepy Espeon from Fusion Strike, down 10% on the year, all-time high of 333, and we're still trending downward. It looks like pretty much across the board. So this Espeon's not doing a whole lot. I don't know if it's just waiting for some hype cycle or something. Prismatic's just not enough. Recent sales are at 300 bucks. Now we have the Sleepy T-Tar. For whatever reason, there's a ton of people trying to pump Battle Styles. Battle Styles isn't a good set. You have the Sleepy T-Tar, and that's it. And I will say the Sleepy T-Tar is pretty nice. He just had a massive meal, and he's in the food coma. We all literally can relate to that. Food comas are, I mean, they're not the best thing, but the food was probably pretty good, right? Um, I just don't know if Tyranitar has the star power to, become a $500 card and carry Battle Styles, because Battle Styles doesn't really have much else. It has an Empoleon, but I don't think it's that expensive. I just don't understand why people are trying to pump Battle Styles. Just let Battle Styles be Battle Styles. But Tyranitar is pumping right now. It hit an all-time high of $300, and we came back down to about 200, and we're like halfway back to $300. 6 months we're still down, but 3 months we're at 21%. 1 month we're at 20. Only 25 sellers, and recent sales are between 250, like 280. I don't know this 325. Maybe there wasn't a reputable seller. Looking at Aerodactyl, this is from Lost Origin. Another good artwork with a number of good Pokemon in there. I mean, this really plays like the dinosaur scene up. You got like a smoking volcano. Pretty good artwork, if I don't say so myself. And this one is booming. We are booming, up 40% in the last year. Looks like we're approaching all-time highs. Let's look at what the previous all-time high was. 180, crashed down to like 136, and now we're approaching $200. 3 months we're up 20%. 1 month we're up 8%. Lowest listed from a reputable seller is 195. So yeah, we're right there. Let's see what recent sales are. 175, and then I don't know what the 250s are, but yeah, the next sale is probably going to be 195 when it does sell, and they are from a reputable seller. Then you're gonna have a gap up here somewhere to 225 because these people aren't really reputable. All right, next we have the Mew VMAX. This is from Fusion Strike, and really Fusion Strike went under the radar for way too long. Over the course of the last year, we hit an all-time high of like 256, and unfortunately I'm holding on to one or two of these, wrote it all the way back down to 180, and I'm finally starting to pump itself back up. We're up, we got 31 of these on TCG Player, and we're seeing a little bit of a tail up in the last 3 months and month. Recent sales are like 190 to 220. Let's look at the available listings. We got one at like basically 200, and then not really reputable sellers, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. That's a lot of sales to not have 100%. But then it's like 228. So hopefully we see some movement in there and I can offload mine. That'd be great to see. Now we have the Galarian Moltres. Again, Chilling Reign. I think this is a beautiful artwork. I just don't understand why people just don't like Chilling Reign. It has two really nice hits. Only 24 available, and as you can see, this is flat, if not down, pretty much across the board. Let's look at the last month. Only up, that's basically just flat. Recent sales are like 190, 215 might be a little bit of a stretch. Let's look at the reputable seller. 195, 200, 223. So maybe that's what happened there. Reputable seller. It's always worth it to go with a reputable seller if it's a bit higher, just because you don't even get to see the card, and TCG players customer service is kind of a pain to deal with. So they'd rather you like fight with the seller to figure it out, and then they step in, and yeah. All right, so Machamp V. This is from Astral Radiance. I did try to take some of the top hits from some of the sets just to kind of get like a broad understanding of the top chases, from each set. So the first couple were, the most expensive of the era, and then it was like, all right, let's look at the top chases, which I don't know. I don't have Misty Starmie in here because it's not an alt art, and Machamp is pumping. It looks like we're at all-time highs on this one. Just green all the way across. Look at that. Year, what was our previous all-time high? Well, we were coming down 165, so maybe this was higher last year. Unfortunately, we only get 1 year, and it looks like we were on a downtrend. So maybe this car was $200 last year. I'm not 100% sure. Recent sales are between 180 and an odd 220. Let's look at the numbers. Um, that is really odd. I don't. What is that? It's Korean or something, and he doesn't specify. That's kind of scummy. Lowest listed from a reputable seller is going to be like 176, and then we jump up to 200. You need two sales there, and then you're up to 220. That would be good to see that. And next we have the Origin Form Palkia. This is, I forget what artwork this is based off of, but it's basically based off of some famous artwork. I don't know. I'm not a big art guy. I'm not very artistic. Uh, Hit an all-time high of $86, came back down to 66, and we're starting to pump back up. We're at $76. Over the last 3 months, we're up 12%, and the last month we're up about 8. 55 of these available. I believe this has a little bit better hit rate because it's like the full art, alt art. But recent sales are 78 to 85, so pretty much right at the all-time highs. Let's look at the lowest listed from a reputable seller is going to be 75, and then we're going to get a jump up to just about 80 bucks. So we're nearing all-time highs here. So to be fair, I don't really see any trends or anything that, alt arts are booming or alt arts are trending upwards. There's some that are and some just aren't. Maybe, some of the more popular ones that aren't would be a good play, kind of win it out. Some of the ones that are starting to trend up, maybe you can ride some momentum up. But, with cards that are $1,000, it just gets expensive and, you're like risking a decent amount of money there. I do think that the Rayquaza might be a play with a potential Rayquaza set coming out, but that's going to be like a sell the news type of card. Dragonite might be pumping up a little bit because the Mega Dragonite, by the way, that's what I brought up is the Dragonite might be pumping because the Mega Dragonite, like recency bias. Same thing with the Gengar. I would definitely say the Gengar is pumping up because of the Mega Gengar and just it going parabolically crazy. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about Sword and Shield and the alt arts? Is it dead? Are you selling it? If you are people even buying Sword and Shield right now? Like, what is going on? There's a lot of bigger YouTubers that are saying, including Rudy, like, hey, Destin Rivals at 600, risky. Phantasmal Flames at whatever, 500, kind of risky. Like, go back to Sword and Shield. This stuff's gone. Like, you're not getting any more of it. People just don't care at all. So, and you can get Astral Radiance relatively cheap. Now, it's not, Astral Radiance isn't no Prismatic or Ascended or Destined Rivals, but it's cheaper than Destined Rivals right now, and it's not getting reprinted. You're not going to lose 50% overnight because of a reprint. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And before you click off the video, check the description. There's a lot of helpful links in there. Join the email list when I have a large amount of product. Basically, on set releases, I will send an email so y'all can have a direct link to buy it. Join the Discord. I think we're like 77 members strong now. I tried to ping for big box and, my restocks and just chit chat, investing advice or call outs. Just a cool group of, Pokemon fans. And in the video description, there's also a link to my website. Shop it. There's, all sorts of crazy good stuff. You got First Partners collections, Ascended Heroes, Phantasmal Flames, Prismatic, Japanese Team Rocket, Japanese 151. We got all sorts of sealed English and Japanese products. Make sure you guys check it out. And that's all I got for you. If I didn't already say it, subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the next video.